Max Holloway is a mixed martial artist, currently signed to the UFC with a record 23 wins and 6 losses. He is currently ranked 9th in the UFC pound-for-pound rankings and number 1 in the UFC Featherweight rankings. Max holds a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Blessed, as he is popularly called, has had an extremely successful career inside the octagon, defeating a host of seasoned fighters. Today, we will be talking about how he landed over 3,000 strikes to become the first and only person to reach that milestone and set a UFC record. How it all started. Holloway got into combat sports at age 15 when he started training in kickboxing and won his first amateur fight after 3 days of training. He made his amateur debut in 2010 at Destiny MMA against Maui New Kauai, a fight he won in the 3rd round through TKO punches. Holloway then turned professional in September 2010 and fought Duke Zaragoza at X1 Heroes. He won the fight by unanimous decision. He then won his next fight in X1 before getting a title shot at the X1 Lightweight Championship against Harris Samito. Holloway won the fight through a split decision and then fought Eddie Rincon at UIC 4, War on the Valley Isles. He won the bout by a unanimous decision. He then joined the UFC in 2012, being the youngest fighter on the UFC roster as an injury replacement for Ricardo Lamas at UFC 143. It was a fight against Dustin Poirier, which he lost via submission in the 1st round. Holloway versus Poirier won. The duo squared off for the first time at UFC 143. The 3-round bout ended with Holloway losing to Poirier. He submitted in the very first round as Poirier locked him in a mountain triangle armbar, which earned him the submission. Holloway versus Bermudez. Bermudez used takedowns and some big power shots to punish Holloway and score a split decision victory on Saturday. For Bermudez, the win was his 4th straight. For 21-year-old Holloway, the youngest fighter in the UFC, it was his only 2nd UFC defeat. But at the end of the day, Holloway had the most significant strikes even though he did less damage. Holloway versus McGregor. McGregor and Holloway, being 2 of the best strikers in UFC history, had an outstanding match. McGregor surprised a lot of fans with his grappling skills while also landing 4 out of the 5 attempted takedowns with 80% accuracy. Holloway, on the other hand, failed to land a single takedown, not like he was trying to. McGregor also had the highest number of strikes in the fight, leading 72 to Holloway's 23. Holloway versus Chope. Chope had the edge early in the 1st round, bloodying Holloway's nose with lunging punches, a few knees from the tie clinch, and some low kicks. But midway through the round, Holloway began to open up and landed flush with quick combos, spinning back kicks, and hard straight punches. A final volley staggered choke and was only cut short by the end of the round. Holloway defeats Choke via TKO punches at 2:27 of round 2 with a strike count of 74. Holloway versus Fili. The Holloway and Fili UFC 172 fight delivered more than expected. Fili looked to have the first round, but Holloway rebounded in the second frame. It all came down to the third. It was a close round until Holloway began to tag Fili on the feet. He secured a guillotine choke and finished the fight at 3:39 of round 3. Holloway landed a total of 47 strikes. Holloway versus Collard. Collard showed no octagon jitters in his UFC debut, but his over-aggression ultimately worked against him and aided Holloway to an offense-heavy win. Holloway ultimately used dominant groundwork to earn a TKO win over Collard. Early with a strike count of 14. Holloway versus Stevens. UFC 194 saw Holloway continue to cruise and add names to his resume. He kicked off that weekend's main card with a solid, albeit quiet, win over tricky veteran Jeremy Stevens. Stevens quickly got to work as the aggressor in the first round, throwing wild leg kicks and looking for an opening for his devastating overhand right. Holloway was able to escape danger every time. significant strikes in last night's matchup than he did in Poirier's bout. Holloway still outstruck his opponent by 129. He also did a superb job of fending off the takedown attempts from Edgar. Holloway versus Volkanovski 1. In the first fight between the duo, Volkanovski put an end to Holloway's 2.5-year run as the champion. So even though Holloway had a significant strike count of 127, Volkanovski won the bout via a comfortable unanimous decision. Holloway versus Volkanovski 2. Despite losing his title in the first fight, Holloway was granted an immediate rematch. The duo met in the octagon for a second time at UFC 251 in July 2020. The second fight was a more competitive affair. This time, Volkanovski barely edged past the former champion via a split decision win. Holloway had a strike count of 102 in the fight. Holloway versus Kattar. Holloway gave Calvin Kattar a fight that he won't forget in a hurry when the two squared off in a featherweight slugfest in January 2021. Holloway landed a total of 445 significant strikes from 744 attempts compared to Kattar's 133 significant shots from 283 attempts. This resulted in a 59% accuracy rate for Holloway and 47% for his opponent. At the end of the one-sided bout, Holloway was awarded the win via a unanimous decision. Holloway versus Rodriguez. Holloway accomplished a record-breaking feat after becoming the first fighter in UFC history to land a total of 3,000 strikes. Bless reached the milestone after bombarding Yair Rodriguez with 230 total hits, which led to a unanimous decision victory at UFC Fight Night 197. Holloway's overall hit count, currently landed, is 3,056. Holloway versus Volkanovski 3. At UFC 276, Volkanovski put his featherweight championship on the line against Holloway and came out victorious for the third time against him. The fight went on for a while and was ultimately an easy one to call in favor of Volkanovski, even though the fight was a brutal one for Holloway. He did manage to get in 134 significant strikes. Moving forward for Holloway, after losing to Volkanovski for the third time, it kills his chances of getting another title shot until Volk is dethroned. Max is undecided about what he might do next. Bless hinted that he is entertaining a move to the lightweight division to challenge Charles Oliveira for the title or a rematch with Conor McGregor. What's your favorite Max Holloway fight? Drop it in the comments. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe.